This is a wonderful morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, I know some resolutions are going on because I see people here I haven't seen in a long time. You know who you are. I see people here I've never seen before. That's a different matter, isn't it? Okay, so, and a special Happy New Year to everyone who was not here the first Sunday of the year, which was last Sunday. As you know, in this center and Centers for Spiritual Living across the land, we take January typically to revisit the first 4 chapters in the Science of Mind textbook, the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. We're doing it again this year, but I was talking to Jay, and I said, you know, what if we spice up the titles a little, and maybe people won't know? But everybody loves the titles, he says. So we compromised. We spiced up the titles, and then I think in parentheses we put, you know, what the corresponding chapter is. So he launched us off last week with an overview of the first 4. Today we're starting with chapter 1, the thing itself, but my jazzed up title is You to the Power of Infinity. You to the Power of Infinity. Each of us is me, you to the power of infinity, right here and right now. That's what the thing itself is, God. That's who we are. We are all of God right here in this moment. In the chapter, Dr. Holmes writes, marvelous as the concept may be, it is nonetheless true that we have at our disposal, in what we call our subjective mind, a power that seems to be limitless. Our thought falling into our subjective mind merges with the universal subjective mind and becomes the law of our life through the one great law of all life. What is he saying? It's another way of stating that, yes, God is all there is, and each of us is a crucial part of it. And the place where we access that is at the level of our subjective mind. Now, I promise I'm not going to go into a dissertation about subjective mind because it's January and we're excited about the year ahead and the beauty and success and joy we're creating for ourselves. But we will speak briefly about what subjective mind is. Each of us has a rational, objective, thinking, aware mind. This is where the thoughts we know we're having are going on. I'm hungry. I wish I'd gotten here on time. If I'd known Amy was going to be here, I would have gotten here on time. Whatever. The thoughts you know that you're having in this moment, that's objective mind. Subjective mind is that part of our individual mind that runs automatically and mechanically. Old beliefs sometimes from childhood. There's not enough money. Candy is bad for you. Don't talk to strangers, those kinds of things. Many of us, over the course of our studies, have instilled some very positive and powerful subjective thoughts, okay? But these are the thoughts that operate outside our conscious awareness. The other reason subjective mind is so important is this. It is the exact place where we connect with infinite mind. In this teaching, we understand God as having 2 very important facets. There's only one God. It has 2 aspects, love and law. Love is the creative power, the generative force that makes all there is. Law is the mechanism by which it is brought into form. Okay? You've heard the term divine mind. Even those of you who are new, we have a visitor today from Unity. There's God consciousness and there's individual consciousness. And the place where those 2 meet is our own personal subjective mind. Okay? Why do we call it a law? Well, the universal subjective mind is a law because it's a principle. And what is a principle? A principle is something that, when put to use, works the same way every time. No matter who's using it, no matter where they are, no matter how much money or education they have. It works the same for everyone every time. And the good news about it being a law is that we can rely on it. If the law works for anyone, it works for everyone, so it works for us. But we have to use it. The law works, but we have to work it, okay? So, Love is creative, law is mechanical. You can read all this in Roman numeral chapter 1, the thing itself, in your textbook. If you don't have a textbook, please visit our bookstore and make sure you have one. It's the most important book you will ever purchase and will ever read and ever use. And it's universally applicable and on a daily basis, I would say. So we have to understand ourselves in terms of the thing itself. Whatever it is, we are. There's nothing else we could be because God is all there is. Where do we think we came from? Someplace else and God took us in? It doesn't work that way. We originated in God to live through God as God right here and right now. So what do I mean by U to infinity? U to the power of infinity means that we actually raise our consciousness up here to the level of truth, the truth about ourselves, that we recognize no matter what we've been doing up until now, we always have the potential to live at the level of us to the power of infinity. It's a choice. And this is a good time to talk about it because this is January 8th. And this is a leap year. We get a whole extra day to create the lives we want, don't we? So that leaves 358 more days. 358 more days to create the life of our dreams. Now, U to infinity means that we decide consciously in this moment to align ourselves with the eternal forces that have always been in place and at play. They've always been working, and whether we've been working with them or not, they've been working in our lives. We may have been unconscious about it. We may have known about it and decided not to work with it. Oh, it's too much trouble. And I don't want to go to that weird church. Whatever. I don't want to read. I don't want to have to take a class. I don't want to use the intelligence with which I'm endowed, so I'm just going to let it work on its own. No, we get to do this now. We get to decide for ourselves to align with that eternal force and allow it to do its good and perfect work in our experience. Okay? So, you might ask, and people do all the time, and I ask myself the very same thing on occasion. If I am the power of infinity, why does my life look like this? Okay, what's the answer? The answer is not, well, what's in your consciousness? No. We can think that, but we don't say that anymore. It's not helpful. Okay. If I am the power of infinity, why does my life look like this? Even for people who have it all dialed in and life is wonderful. Sometimes there's that one little place, right, where there's a challenge. Maybe they have the money and the relationship and the health dialed in, but they hate their job. If I'm the power of infinity, why does my work life look like this? Okay. Studies have shown that human beings use a very small percentage of their brain power. Maybe 10%, maybe 20%. Highly productive people even use a fraction or a small percentage of their brain power. And that's just the brain we're talking about. Imagine the small percentage of divine power we're using. Even those of you, those of us who have created wonderful, happy, abundant lives that work well, that work marvelously. I can tell you right now, even if you're using 98% of divine power, you're cheating yourself by that 2%. Okay? There is nothing stopping us from accessing that 100%. The exponent of infinity. Nothing. So I want us to do that this year. That's my goal for myself, to go from where I am to where I want to be and not have to go through a long, arduous process to get there, but really step into it in a big way, in a positive way, in a happy way, in a welcoming way, and be the woman in my vision. How many of you have a vision for 2012? Who thinks you don't have a vision for 2012? Robert, why is your hand not raised? Okay. So regardless of the percentage of divine power we've been using, maybe it's a little, maybe it's a lot, maybe we go back and forth. God is still infinite, okay? If we've been using 10 or 20%, God is still infinite. If we've been using 85 or 95%, God is still infinite. So no matter where we are, that infinite power is available to us as we open to it and make up our minds to use it. And because God is still infinite, because God is always infinite, this means that we can begin where we are right now. We can begin where we are right now and catapult onward, upward, forward, whatever you want to call it, to infinity up here, vibrating at this level. Okay, we have the potential to go from 0 to infinity, just like that. Now, first of all, we're not at 0, are we? No matter where we are, and even if things are kind of messed up right now, maybe it's a train wreck, I don't know. But we're never at 0, because whatever we're doing, we're creating something, so it's not 0. But figuratively speaking, we can go from 0 to infinity just like that. It doesn't have to be sequential or incremental.